Hello everyone, Slicing Swede here, and welcome to my YouTube channel and my first YouTube video. As you can see, I'm playing PGA Tour 2K21 today, and I've been really excited for this game for a few months now, and yesterday I finally got to lay my hands on it, a copy of it. So this is kind of my first look, and I'm gonna start out by looking at the swing mechanics of this game. So we're gonna start by going into the lessons, and this is where you will automatically start when you first launch the game. But before you end up here, you will get to choose if you want to swing with the left or the right stick. I'm not sure what the standard is, and I'm not sure what they've been using in the golf club games, because I haven't played them. But for me, it feels more natural to play or to swing with my left stick, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Hello there and welcome to PGA Tour 2K21. My name is John and my job is to get you swinging that club like a pro in as little time as possible. Let's crack into it. To begin your swing, pull back on the swing stick. When your golfer's at the top of their backswing, press the swing stick forward. Give it a go.
So in this first lesson, we see the basics of the swing, which is like in every other golf game I've ever played. Me choosing the left stick, this applies to the left stick, but if you swing with the right, obviously you're using the right stick. So for me, pulling back the left stick will perform my backswing, and when I push it forward, I'm performing my downswing. So I'm going to try that now. Yes, perfect shot. Good to be off to a good start.
That's the stuff. After each shot, you will get feedback as to how accurate your shot was in the bottom right-hand corner. In the middle of that circle, there's a white stripe, and that is your swing plane, and that is where your swing needs to live. The more difficult the shot, the more narrow your swing plane will be, so pay attention out there. Now let's try another swing and keep it inside that white stripe.
Okay, so step 2 of your swing is your swing accuracy, and this is how straight you hit the shot. If you look at the right-hand side there, we have a circle with a white stripe going through it from top to bottom. That is our swing plane, and it's surrounded by sort of a gray area on each side, which is the forgiveness area. So after each shot, we will get a blue line showing us how we moved that left stick. So if I were to pull it back straight and then pull it forward straight, that blue line would be within that white stripe, and I would perform a straight shot. But if I were to move outside of that white stripe and outside of the forgiveness area, I will either push the ball if I swing to the right, or if I move the stick to the right, or pull the ball if I move the stick further to the left. So I'm going to try and show you what that might look like. So as you can see, terrible shot. It actually turned back, but it started way out to the right, and you can see there, or you could see it a few moments ago to the right, that I moved the stick way out to the right. So instead I'm going to try and perform a straight shot by moving the stick straight back and straight forward and keep it within that white stripe. And as you can see, I think I'm within the white stripe, or maybe off a little bit to the right into that forgiveness area, but still a good shot.
That's what we're looking for. And you're also going to receive feedback on your swing timing, and that's the meter that kind of wraps around the top of your swing accuracy indicator. Your backswing timing refers to the point at which you transition from backswing into downswing. If you do this too early, you're going to reduce the power of your shot. If you do it too late, you're going to add power but increase the difficulty of the swing. Your downswing timing refers to how quickly you flick that swing stick forward. If your downswing is too fast, you'll hook it, and if it's too slow, you'll slice it. Let's try to get perfect timing on this next swing.
So step 3 of your swing is your swing timing. And this is kind of the hardest part, I would say, of the swing. So we've seen swing accuracy, but swing timing will also determine how straight your shot gets and how far it gets. Swing timing is split up into two different timings. We have the backswing timing, which is about how hard you hit the shot, you can say. The further you bring the club back, the harder you swing. So if I were to swing it just halfway back, I would shoot about a 50% shot. And if I turn it back all the way, I would take a full swing. So the other part is the downswing timing, and this is how quickly or how fast you flick the stick forward. And if you do it too fast, you will hook the ball, which is a golf term for curling it to the left. And if I do it too slowly, I will slice it. I will curl it to the right. And in order to show you what that looked like, I'm gonna perform a full swing, and I'm gonna push the stick slowly forward, and we'll see what happens. And as you can see, we hit it slow, and that means that it slices. It goes off to the right. So what you want to do instead is to find that perfect timing. You don't want to push it too fast, you don't want to push it too slow, and this does take some practice, but I'll try to show you here. And it's still a bit slow, it's within the forgiveness area though, so that's still a decent shot.
Good job. Congratulations, you've got the basics down, Pat. Can't wait to see you use some of these lessons out on the course.
So what I think is really interesting here, and I think it's a smart way that they've made it, is that they've created kind of these different layers of the swing. It's not just about keeping the stick straight, it's not just about swinging in the right tempo. There's a whole lot of things that you need to consider when swinging, and that of course makes the shot harder and more interesting. And what is also interesting, I think, is that the swing plane that we saw in the shot accuracy, you know, the white stripe, and also the downswing timing, the kind of meter going above the circle, those two are also affected by how difficult your shot is and on what level you're playing. If you play at a more difficult level, those white stripes and areas will be more narrow, so it will be harder to perform a perfect shot. And also depending on the shot type you use. So now we're just hitting normal shots, but if you, for example, choose to hit a splash or a flop shot, those are more difficult, and then the white area will be even more narrow. So that's an interesting way, I think, to not make each shot the same, if you know what I mean, to change them up a bit, and yeah, I think it's a cool way to do it.
In this lesson, we're going to talk about one of the most important skills you can have at your disposal, and that is putting. Now, to begin your putt, pull back on the swing stick. The farther you pull back, the stronger your putt will be. The backswing meter at the bottom of your screen is going to give you a target for where your strength should be. Now, as you pull back, wait until the indicator gets in the white part of your backswing meter and then press forward.
Okay, so now we're going into the putting, and just like before, the basics are the same. To perform a putt, just pull the left stick back to do your kind of backswing, and push it forward to do your downswing. Of course, a massive part of putting is how hard you hit the ball. You can't hit it too hard because it will roll way past the hole, and you can't hit it too softly because it won't reach. So if you look at the image here, above the player's head, you have kind of a flag icon, and then it says 11 feet next to it. That means that the hole is 11 feet away from the ball position. If you look a bit further down, you see the aim marker, and that says 13 feet. So in this case, we actually aim 2 feet further away, or 2 feet past the hole. And that's normal because you want the ball to go further than the hole so it can actually roll in. You don't want it to not reach the hole. On the power bar below, you see 37%. And that is related to the 13 feet that we are aiming at. So if I were to aim at 15, 16, or 17 feet, that power bar would go up to maybe 38, 39%. And above the percentage number, you see kind of a white area. That's where you want to end your backswing, within that area, to perform the right speed, to get the right speed on the ball. And just like when we swing our other shots, we have this kind of forgiveness areas next to it, which are marked in gray. So I will show you now what happens if you putt too hard or too softly. And as you can see, it was way too hard. It bounced off the pin and didn't go in.
Well, not quite.
And
let's try that again.
Just the same way, if you putt it too slowly, if you don't hit it hard enough, you won't reach.
Not quite
so
there, is
now
it?
I'll try to bring
again.
it up to that 37%, and yes.
Good job. That's what we're looking for. The putt weight is how hard you hit your putt. To set your putt weight, move the aim marker towards or away from you. The further away from you the marker is, the stronger your putt will be. Since this is a downhill putt, we'll want to ease up on our weight. So move your aim marker a little bit closer to you by pulling down on the aim stick, and then have a go at this putt.
So step number 2 is the putt weight, and this is kind of what we have already discussed, how hard you hit the ball. But in this tutorial, or in this lesson, you will see that the green is moving downhill. It's leaning forward, if that's what you say in English. And that you can see by looking at the white markers going in the direction towards the hole. So in this case, we don't have to hit it as hard as 13 feet. So I'll move it back to maybe here, 11 feet, and then it goes down to 35% on the power bar. And we'll see what happens if I hit it at 35%.
Great work.
And it's
Looks
in the
like
hole.
You've got the hang of that.
Great putt.
Those moving dots on the grid are telling us that your putt is going to break to the right, so you're going to have to aim to the left to compensate. Use the aim stick to make adjustments before putting so that you can drop this one in the hole.
So you always have to read the brakes on the putts. So we've already established that we need to putt more softly if it's moving downhill, and obviously you have to putt harder if you're going uphill. But you also have to look at the markers going from left to right in this case, or they can also move from right to left. And that means that the ball won't go straight at the cup, but you need to aim it a bit to the side, of course, because it's leaning to the side. So here I move it up a bit to the left, and what I can do is I can hold my A button, and what happens then is I get this kind of putt preview, or putt line they call it, which shows me where the putt will go if I put it like that, if I putt it like that with the speed I've set. So it was a bit too far to the left, so I'll move it some way back to the right, and then I'll try to sink it. And there we go.
Great work on that one. And with that, you are ready to tear it up out there on the greens, metaphorically speaking, obviously. As with hello and welcome to this lesson where we will talk about clubs and shot types. I am going to show you how to make the most of what's in your golf bag with a few simple tricks. Okay, so for this shot, you're hitting into the wind. This means you are going to have to club up, or in other words, use a longer club. So let's press the change club button until you get to the pitching wedge, then just pop this shot onto the green.
And in this lesson, we'll go through the different shot types. And in this first lesson, it's barely not a lesson, it's just showing you the control where you change clubs. So very basic, you just scroll up or down on the, what do you call it in English? Not the stick, but the left kind of stick below the left stick. My English is too poor. Anyway, I think you know what I mean. So we'll choose the pitching wedge as it says, and then we'll try to make this shot. And we've hit the green. Great spin there as well.
Now, it's only a matter of time before you find yourself in a situation where the normal shot type is just not going to do. Now, to get on the green from here, you are going to need a chip shot. So let's press the change shot type button until you get to the chip shot, and then chip that ball nice and close to the pin with your next stroke.
So, in this tutorial, or in this lesson, we are trying to make a chip shot. And you change your shot type by scrolling left and right on that same stick as the one you change your clubs on. So I'm gonna move it to the right to go from normal to a chip shot. And as you can see, this is a shot that flies low and it will land within that circle, and then hopefully it will roll down to the yellow zone there surrounding the hole. And there we go. Successful lesson.
Well done on that lesson. Information about the current lie of your ball is available always in the top right corner of the screen. This will give you a range of how much spin and power your shot will retain, and then you can use that info to adjust your shot accordingly. For this particular situation, let's change our club to the sand wedge and then change our shot type to a splash shot, which is a great shot for getting out of these greenside bunkers. After that, give that swing a go. See if you can stick it close.
So step 3 is about reading the lie, and this is all about the information in the upper right corner, where you can see sand and 79 to 87%. On a tee shot or a fairway shot, this would be pretty close to 100, which means that you will, if you perform a perfect swing, you will shoot it as long as that club normally does. But in this case, it will be a bit shorter because we're in the sand, so we have some resistance. So we will only go 79 to 87% of the way. And in this case, we're choosing the splash shot, since that is what is recommended for these greenside bunker shots.
We'll chalk that one up as a success. And now that you know a thing or two about shot, hello there and welcome to the lesson on advanced shots. In this lesson, we're going to learn about techniques you're going to want to master if you want to compete with the pros. Let's begin. In this situation, we are going to need to take a partial swing. If you chip this with full power, it's going to blow right by the hole. So we are going to have to move our aim marker closer to us to compensate. Move the aim marker a little bit closer to you. See if you can get about a 75% power chip. And then use the backswing meter at the bottom of your screen to dial in the proper strength for this chip.
And finally, we have these advanced shots. And we're starting off with a partial shot, or kind of a half swing shot. So in this case, we are hitting with a 7-iron, we're hitting a chip shot, and it's telling us that if we hit it at 100%, we will go way past the hole. So what we need to do is use our right stick to move the target back closer to us, so we won't hit it that far. And when I do that, you can see that the power bar is going further down from 100%, and the recommendation here is 75%. So that's what we'll do. So now I need to pull the stick back in the backswing to 75% and then perform my downswing. And there we go. Nice shot.
Nice work. You're going to come across situations like this one where you want to adjust the spin and loft of your shot. In this case, we want to land our shot on the green softly without a whole lot of roll. And for that, we need to add some backspin. Hold down the true shot button and move your aim stick down to increase your loft and backspin, and then have a go at this pin and see if you can land it nice and soft and close.
So what if I turn that power meter off? Because a lot of players do, and I actually want to do it as well. Isn't it hard to time it to exactly 75%? Well, yes, it is. It is a bit more difficult, but you're not completely helpless, or whatever you call it, because the controller will actually give a slight vibration when you reach that 75% or whatever you're aiming at, and then you can go off of that information. So in this spin control lesson, we learn how to put spin on the ball. And reading about this game before I bought it, I noticed that a lot of people were really interested in how much spin you can put on the ball, because apparently it hasn't been that much in the golf club games. But I'm happy to say that in this game you can actually spin the ball. And you do that by holding the LB button, which opens up this menu. And there's two ways to add or decrease spin on your ball. So we have the left stick, which increases or decreases dynamic loft. Moving it up will decrease dynamic loft and add less spin. If we move it down, we will increase our dynamic loft, which will make the ball fly higher, I think, and add more loft. And as you can see, when I'm moving it up and down, the swing plane and the downswing timing meter is shrinking and increasing. And that's because when I add more spin or when I decrease spin, it makes the shot harder, and then it will be a more narrow swing plane. I can also move the right stick up and down, and this is affecting the attack angle I'm using on the shot. So if I move the right stick up, I will hit more up on the ball, which will decrease spin. If I move it down, I will kind of attack the ball a bit more, hit down on it, which will add spin. So we'll try to bring some spin into this shot and we'll see how it goes. And it didn't spin back, but it stopped quite quickly.
You've got the hang of this one.
So that's a nice shot.
Applying a fade or draw to your golf shot is a great tool to have at your disposal. By holding down the true shot button and moving the aim stick to the left, you can apply a fade. By moving the aim stick right, you can apply a draw to the ball flight. To complete this lesson, apply a fade to your next shot and watch that ball curl gently back into the middle of the driving range.
So in step 3 of the advanced shots, we are adding a fade or a draw. So if you are not familiar with the golf terms, a fade for a right-handed player is a slight curve to the right, Still within control, we don't slice it, but we kind of fade it, just intentionally curve it to the right. And a draw is the other way around. We curve it to the left. And you do this by holding the LB button, and then you move the left stick to the left or the right. And as you can see, we don't have to aim and to the left or right and then kind of guess how far we're gonna fade or draw it. Instead, the marker will always be the place where the ball is supposed to end up, and instead the player is gonna move his body to kind of show where you will start the ball. Obviously, with this blue line, you see that already, but that will not always be there depending on what level you're playing. So we're gonna try and hit a fade shot. And there we go, a nice fade to the right.
That's what we're looking for. This is the end of the advanced shots tutorial. If you want to get even more advanced, you can all.
And that was it. Those were our swing mechanics of this game. I'm back at the range now, and just finally, as you can see, my swing plane and the downswing meter is way more thin or narrow here, and that's because I've actually increased the difficulty on this game. So depending on what difficulty you're playing at, it will affect the swing plane and the downswing timing meter. But that was all for me, and thank you very much for watching this video. I will continue with more PGA Tour 2K21 videos, so hopefully you will stay tuned, and yeah, see you next time.